Hi. It is July 24th, Saturday. I just came back from brunch with an old schoolmate who saw one of my videos, was worried. She reached out. And then I offered, why don't we just have brunch together so we can talk? Because she just was really worried. And clearly I triggered her, you know, with whatever I was saying, whatever video it was that she saw. And I know I had triggered her before when I had made a comment about all roads leading to God. So it's a great brunch. Went to a place, never been before. It's called Poached in Downey. And you know, tried to catch up. And yeah, so we had a conversation. It was good in the sense that I learned from that conversation. She gave me some scripture to look at, and she's an LMFT, so of course, you know, by default, we try to analyze people. So she apologized for asking a lot of questions. I said, go right ahead, I'm on a book. And I tried my best to answer. She said she felt like I was holding back. I said, no, go right ahead, ask away. I have nothing to hide from. I don't, and you know, there's a reason. Mochi! Someone's walking by. She gets all crazy. Mochi! Okay, I'm gonna have to pause it. She's not gonna stop right now. I need to close the curtain. Hey! Who's here? No. Oh my goodness. You just see the neighbor. Relax yourself. Okay. Oh, it got darker. It got a little darker. Okay. So I triggered her. Clearly I triggered her. That's wrong. You know, when people are worried, it's because they're triggered. Right? When we are worried, I should not exclude myself. When we are worried, it's because we're triggered. So she was asking a lot of questions. I was trying to give her as quick of a rundown as I could. But she was asking questions about my past, trauma, of course. Everyone nowadays, right? It's all about trauma. Past trauma. What was the moment that I realized this? Where am I going with all this? What am I seeking? Do I not feel like I'm fulfilled? Do I not feel like I have peace? A lot of why questions. But why with judgments? Like, why do you feel you are searching for the truth? Or I forget what it was. But it was questions with judgment, with this premise already established within the question itself. And so then I would ask her questions about her questions, about like, well, where is that coming from, right? Because I'm trying to figure out where is it coming from. And I knew I was triggering her, clearly. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And it was interesting because she started off saying, I'm open. But then, and then later on, I mean, I shared with her the interaction that I had with a loved one who was judging me, right? The path that I was going down. And other people, and just other people's just experiences, right? That I've had both extremes. People telling me I'm going down the wrong path, and then I've had people thanking me for doing this, for shedding light on the stuff that was hidden, because then they can tap into parts of themselves that they were ashamed to tap into before, or made to feel guilty about, or made to feel like they shouldn't be experiencing stuff like that, which is related to their spiritual gifts, really. And so what I got from this conversation, because I was getting triggered too, and then I was trying to keep myself level and then let her talk. And I was agreeing with everything she was saying. And I think that threw her off. She's like, I don't understand. She couldn't understand, one, that I was agreeing with everything that she was saying. And then the moment that I tried to share a different perspective, she was quick to shut it off. Quick to shut it off. So I stepped back. And then she would keep, and then she kept repeating, I don't want to sound like your mom. And she kept repeating over. I'm like, okay, clearly I'm lifting up a mirror for you. She's like, because I know what that feels like. I was there. I'm like, okay. And she kept repeating that over. I don't want to sound like your mom. I want to sound like your mom. I was like, okay. And then it was hard. It was hard for me, really. I realized, right? It's a learning experience. Because there's going to be more people who are going to feel exactly like she does, right? When they see someone in distress, to not understand that it's okay to be in distress over and over and over again, right? That's what healing is. And she believes in miracles. I said, great, I do too. I've seen it happen. And she just couldn't fathom why I was going down a road with no map. Because she had said, I think she thought I was gonna maybe say that I found the truth. I'm like, no, I don't know where I'm going. And that was uneasy. She felt uneasy with that idea that I'm going down a path that I don't know where it leads to. And she said, you have to understand that people aren't gonna get that. And I said, no, I get it. I see it. That's okay. So then why are you doing it? Because no one else is. That's what I told her. I'm doing it because no one else is. As far as I know, right? And she knows my upbringing. I was telling her that I was a really conservative Christian. And so I said, I'm doing it because no one else is doing it. Because I'm determined to see what's on the other side. And I've always been one to put myself in challenging situations. Put myself in situations that no one else wants to put themselves in. Because I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I know that I end up being stronger when I go through it. I feel a lot of earth energy from her. So I wonder if she has a lot of earth in her chart. And then she talked about her sister also looking into tarot, but that her sister was always like, she just keeps on getting more and more depressed. And I said, I can see that. I can see that. And she said, there's a reason why people don't do this. And I said, I totally agree. It says in the Bible. Why? It says in the Bible why it's discouraged. Because it brings about confusion. Because it brings about fear of the unknown. And that's what I told her. I'm comfortable with this. And I don't think she couldn't fathom that I was comfortable with not knowing where it leads, where this road leads. And she's like, it could take you down the cliff. I said, I know. And she just couldn't. I think that was very uncomfortable for her. I felt it. I saw it. I saw her body shift. And then she gave me scripture, so I pulled out my Bible. Let me tag it, right? I want to know what people tell me. I want to know what they say as a response. And then I realized, because she said, I'm getting confused, I'm getting confused. I said, yeah. And then she's like, you don't know where you're going. I said, no, I don't. I'm validating everything she's saying, right? I don't know where I'm going. This is confusing. That's why I'm on this path. That's why I'm on this path, to figure it out. But in her mind, and I can see it from many people's minds, the truth is already that, right? If you believe that this is it, right? And by it, I mean my Bible, which is in my purse. That this is it. So I said, I believe that's your truth. I believe that people believe that this is it. And that's great. And then she said, you have to understand, I don't feel... I don't like going down a path that I don't know. I said, okay, then don't. You don't have to. I told her, I said, you don't have to, then don't. If this makes you feel safe, then stay there. By all means, stay there. And she looked up at me. There was a moment where she looked up at me. And I don't know, like I got the sense that she thought I was trying to look at the situation in a different way, but it really wasn't. I was just responding to her questions. But for whatever reason, it triggered her enough to keep reinforcing, emphasizing that her way was the right way. And I kept saying back to her, that's great, I'm glad. Of course, you're seeing all these miracles, great, I'm glad you are. Then stick to it. That's your truth. I believe that it's your truth, so stick to it. And that seemed to trigger her too, maybe? Because she just kept, I think she just couldn't understand. And it makes sense. She couldn't understand because it's not her truth. And she says, I've seen people go down this path and then come back. I said, yeah, I can see that. She's like, it's darkness. I said, some people term it darkness. Yeah, sure, let's term it darkness. And I said, people try to venture into this world and then they get scared because it's dark, if you want to use that word, it's the unknown. And so they turn back and they share their truth, and that's okay. So what I learned from this experience, because I doubt she has seen all my videos, what I have learned from this experience is that I need to create a synopsis, like a summary of the videos as they unfold, or just like I know I put it at the end, right? That it's my truth, it's my spiritual awakening, that, everyone has the truth for themselves. This is just my truth, and I'm inviting people along, right? That's it. And if it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, it'll trigger you. I don't know if she ended up watching that. I should have asked her, because it made me question, like, how do I have these conversations with people outside of my videos, right? In real life, in real time. Knowing and acknowledging that they may not have watched all my videos, it reminds me of this interview. Oh, I'm laughing because it's taking me back. It reminds me of this interview with Jordan Peterson and this feminist journalist who's interviewing him and quoting his book out of context. And he has a good comeback. He's just like, how can you say that and not consider these other things? Like, and that's how I felt. Like, that's how I felt. I'm just like, in the sense of like, we can't quote. And then I was using the Bible as an example. We can't quote scripture out of context. And then I started like bringing up stuff, and then she's like, wait a minute. Now you're going into theology. I'm like, well, I kind of have to. I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm not ruling anything out. I can't just look at the Bible personally. I can't just look at the Bible just for what it is, like under these constructs, and that's it and nothing else. Because that's how she was looking at it. And she's like, that makes me feel safe. I said, great. Then keep looking at it that way. That's the purpose that it serves, right? For people, that's what it serves. For me, I can no longer look at this system separate from all these other systems, all these other worlds in my life. Theology, science, math, physics. I just can't, because it's all interconnected. I'm supposed to generalize this into all aspects of my life. And there's science in my life, right? Gravity. There's math in my life. There's love in my life. There's feelings. There's relationships. There's money. I can't just look at this within this context alone anymore. I have to try to figure out how this applies in my current situation, in the current world that we live in. I had this conversation yesterday with another loved one where at her church, she's also religious, of the Mormon faith, they were talking about how marriage is being viewed, how it's being changed in society. And there was this connotation of almost like, what do we do? Right? And she was supposed to send me a link, so I wanted to read it. But the impression that I got was this, there was almost like a sense of fear, like the term marriage of what we know is going away. Like it was something bad almost. So then I told her, I said, good. I said, it makes sense. It needs to change. The world we're living the world we are living in is changing, right? Now, with the Mormon faith, there's a little more flexibility in this concept, this belief, right? That the word shifts over time because they have the Mormon Bible, right? Or the Book of Mormon, not the Mormon, but the Book of Mormon, which is in essence an update or like an update of the Bible, right? It's in addition to the Bible, but it's a different way of a message that was influenced, right, by their prophet, and they have many prophets now, and so the words that come from them is in essence, right, this continued evolving word, right, of faith that needs to continue to evolve, to because change is inevitable. It's all around us all the time, and you know, it's like when I was telling her about, I said it makes sense, and that's great that you guys are revisiting that term, marriage, because it is changing, it is evolving, and you know, we just kind of need to. If we can't always just stick to the Bible as itself, because if we really were to follow it to the T, then we would be screwed. As women, we'd be screwed, right? And she's like, no, yeah. I said, okay. So there's, and because we know that it was written by man from influence of God, the fact that it was written still by man gives it that element of error, right? Possible error, possible bias, possible prejudice, possible shift in perspective in the message. And she says, I get that. Because the Book of Mormon, there's an account, a journal account, where the prophet John Smith says, I am only a man. I think it was him. I don't remember if it was John Smith or I haven't gone through that Bible yet, or that book. But she says there's a journal account, and in that journal account he says, I am only a man. I am only a man. If you have any question about the truth, you seek it for yourself. So there's more flexibility in understanding what I'm doing from that faith versus the encounter that I had this morning. But again, I was reflected back. What do I do in this situation? Because I know I'm going to have more of these situations with other people in real time who may or may not have seen all my videos. So I need to get better at not confusing people when I'm face to face with them, because that's what she said. She said, you're going around in circles. I'm like, well, you know, the questions that you're asking me, you know, are not simple questions. There's context to the question. And so it takes me all over. I didn't explain this to her because I just realized it right now. The questions that she was asking me are not simple questions. They're complex answers to these questions. And so then it seems like I'm all over the place, but it's just, I was trying to fit everything, 40 years of my life, in an hour and a half, because that's how long we met. So it was a good learning experience for me. I believe it was. And I left, you know, and I knew it was going to be one of those, we agreed to disagree. And then I asked her at the end, how are you feeling with all this? She said, I feel good. I'm grounded. I'm like, good. I'm glad. She knows, she said, I know where I'm going. Great. It's been, you know, my family's been blessed. Great. I'm glad. That's your truth. I feel at peace. I feel more and more whole and complete as I'm healing, right? As I'm healing. I already feel God's presence. I feel the happiest that I've ever been. And I don't need to know where I'm going. Because faith, by definition, is believing in that which you do not see. God's ways are higher than our ways. And so this path, not everyone will understand. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not knowing the final destination. Although, technically I do, because all roads lead to God. It's just how you view your situation. So that's that. On another note, I was supposed to hang out with Mr. Arizona today. And I mean, I was very clear from the beginning, very clear, set my boundaries. I said, all I can offer you is friendship. And he showed up, he wanted to meet early. I said, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I told him I was going to be busy this week, and he said he was going to come down. He wanted to see me only for a few hours, he even said. And he gave me a time. He said 5. I said, okay, that sounds doable. I'll keep you posted. And he must have forgot. He must have thought I was going to spend all day with him and yesterday because he was driving all the way out here. I was very clear. I can only offer you friendship. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So I get home from my brunch. And he, in essence, is saying, please don't take this the wrong way. I feel like if you're not ready yet to meet someone new or let someone new in your life, I believe you have to heal from your pain that you possibly have. I'm ready to have someone new in my life, so why don't we just leave this for another day and we just keep talking? I must have triggered something in him. If you ever feel ready, I'm more than happy to come back to California and see you. And then he continues, unfortunately, sometimes guys hurt beautiful women like you, and when a good man comes around, it's hard for you guys to trust him. I said, hi, I just got home from my brunch. Don't worry, I won't take this any wrong way. I feel I was clear and honest with you from the beginning. Friendship is all I can offer and all I am looking for. I'm glad you know what you want and what you are ready for. And he put, yes, I do. Maybe in the future we get together. I said, the future is still unwritten. He says, yeah. I hope the best for you, and I guess we'll just keep talking over text messages. So I said, okay then, have a safe drive back. Thank you for your well wishes. And then he put, thank you so much. I put, you're welcome. I didn't put I'm sorry, because I'm not. I'm not sorry he drove all the way out here. That was his choice. I was very clear from the beginning. I think he realized what he was doing. He was jumping into it. And maybe thought he was going to change my mind. I was very clear from the beginning. Very clear from the beginning. So what that means is that I can focus on my quizzes. I have to finish these quizzes so I can do the training for work. I can clean up a little bit because the family that I'm house sitting for will be back tomorrow. So I wanted to mop and clean the restroom and tidy my stuff. And then head back home for a final week. Hopefully a final week of being there, and then move out at the end of July. It's already here. And then after this week, in 2 weeks, I'll be in San Francisco. I'm excited for that. So, that was all. Nothing else to report. Till next time. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.